Since 1994, knowledge management is around us, but nowadays it means so much more for an organization to actually do things with that we must have a good look at it again. Nowadays, organizations start to develop a knowledge portal. First of all, what it means is that you give your employees, the professionals connected to your organization, in all sorts of ways, information and intelligence, which you say must listen to a number of qualities. It must be relevant, it must be personal, complete, reliable, searchable, structured, metadated, updated, etc. It must be a pleasure to navigate through that. It must actually challenge your work, make you sharper, more efficient, more effective. It would be important to monitor that and to what extent it actually really helps and facilitate the people to sufficient extent. Often that doesn't happen. And I would like to make a plea to make a good business case for the knowledge portal. The way we then allow people to update all the information and knowledge they create in the due course of their work becomes a very important harvesting process of that information to develop the intellectual capital of your organization. Now that you use social media, Web 2.North, blogs, wikis, all the sort of social media around project management, you will find that if you're not careful, you will have a knowledge base which is cluttered with material of which you actually do not know what is good quality. When is it good? When is it a bit shaky? What is the status? If people actually are somewhere in the organization finding it, can they use it? Is it worth it? Must they first contact the owner? All things to slow down. That publication process, that certain knowledge, by the time it develops from an experience to a serious guidance for other workers to use in certain situations, that is the publication process. And for the moment, I have seen very little good publication processes in professional environments because of social media making it so easy to just any chat of discussion, keep the dialogue lines, because it's the first time that we actually are able to preserve dialogue this well. We put it in a knowledge base, and because it has no particular status, we don't know how to finally use the end results. It becomes rather messy. So once you start to structure a publication process so that you know the moment you publish it, this is just a thought, this is quite advanced, we have tested it, it is peer reviewed, this is actually ready to be used in emergencies or in cases or under certain practices, etc. And then slowly that publication process becomes so mature that users of the intellectual capital, even the lower aspects of that, are then able to interpret, okay, what I have here is maybe not finalized but already gives me a clue, or what I have here is the proved upon and I'm happy to take it on board and apply it. That sort of publication process is very important to design for your organization. A third aspect of good knowledge management is the having of a knowledge map. That means that you have an overview and the possibility to connect yourself not just with colleagues you have a vague knowledge of, but with groups of people in your organization you've never heard of before. But apparently, according to the knowledge map and the way people are tagged and fitting in a structure or a taxonomy, you've got a good feeling of what they actually know, what their experiences are, and how they actually can help you in solving a problem, being connected to a certain project you start up, or being connected to a discussion. Having that access to people, having that overview, that transparency of the intellectual capital will become more and more important in the near future. And I can see obvious trends that organizations more and more seek this sort of professional transparency, so they actually can say my organization really utilizes the knowledge that is available. Secondly, it's not only about people. You also want to search projects, you want to search activities, processes, these sort of things. Maybe markets your organization has already access to. You don't want to search on people, you want to search on these markets, you want to search on the processes. The knowledge map, so to speak, becomes multidimensional. With that, it becomes more complex, but the return on the investment of knowledge maps is very important. You finally will see that a knowledge map must be integrated into the knowledge portal, and the receiver of the information wants to have that in one structured overview. In the past, the fourth part of knowledge management always was very complicated, and you had to have the right IT infrastructure. For a while, that was more easy. Most organizations did have an intranet, they had a good network, and everything was sorted. Nowadays, what we see with cloud computing coming up, and also with the usage and the availability and the possibility of the use within or outside the firewall of social media, and the necessity of using that, it becomes a very different story again. And again, there is a focus on IT to make all these things possible, to lay down an infrastructure of IT, which then becomes suddenly very vital again. And finally, look how very interesting it is that there is a real knowledge cycle from left under, where you can see that the publication process, that all the vital information and knowledge that is uploaded will be straight away then available internally for those knowledge workers, employees who are keen on receiving that and putting that into practice straight away. That knowledge portal where they are looking at also will be fed, as I said earlier, by the content of the knowledge map. And what is also very important is that the organization has a vital good library or access to external sources, which is worth being pre-selected, well filtered, and put ready on the portal as well. And you see that just having access or having it pre-selected and bringing into a dashboard on an active knowledge portal, that's quite a difference. If you can add it all together, you actually see quite a workable model of knowledge management. Okay, this was in short the idea. It's the first time that I produced this little film like I did. I hope you can leave some feedback. You can tell me if you like it, if this is a good way forward. Anyway, best regards. My name is Boyd Hendricks from Informatieland. Bye bye.